Hello, Sir Tom.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us on Fortune Hunter TV. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Goodness, born in a little village in Scotland. My dad was a local grocer, and so I suppose business was in my blood from an early time in my life, and it was natural. This is something we talk about these days. Around the dinner table, chat about business was natural, and that was an education. But I kind of loved it, and I was in the shop from age 6, and I learned literally at my father's apron because he was a baker. Yeah.
Excellent. So you've baked bread as well then?
Well, now and again.
In your business, and you know, your father investing in your business back then was fortunate enough as well.
Yeah.
And what was your next stage from that?
You know, because just for anybody watching this, this is really important, because starting and growing a business, you've chosen to do something really difficult. This is really difficult, but if you get it right, it's so rewarding. It's the best thing you can do. And therefore I'm really passionate about looking at the things that make it less risky. And I really believe that getting the right mentor, and I say right, it might not be one person, it might be an array of people with different skills, but someone who's just going to go, well, you know, I did that and it didn't work out, so don't you make the same mistake, and have you thought of this or that? And it's just that encouragement in the times when they're difficult, and also the grey hair, the nay hair of actually saying, yeah, I have been where you are, because not too many people have. I know what it's like not to be able to pay the wages this Friday, and here's some of the things we did about it, and I'm with you, because it's a very lonely time as well.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
You know, I didn't actually take on anybody for the first 3 years. I was on my own. I suppose my dad was my first and best mentor as such, because he loaned me £5,000, and he basically helped me get through how we were going to make the most of this opportunity. That importance of the support, and the correct support in the early years, is something that we've researched, and it's absolutely crucial.
No, absolutely. And it's not just the early support you find, it's the later support as well, when businesses are slightly off the ground, and everyone just screams, I need money, I need money. And actually, when I write articles and speak to people, it's actually not money they need, it's guidance, it's information, and it's mentorship.
Yeah, I mean, we support a lot of the whole idea of entrepreneurship in Scotland, and when we look at giving money, and we do this with the Royal Bank of Scotland and the Scottish Government, people always say, what's stopping you? Oh, it's money. And I will never allow them to give money without help, because I say, you might as well put the money down the drain.
No, spot on.
And the businesses have got to take the help. Now, most of them want to take it, a few of them don't. But getting that correct help is more important than the money. No business believes you at the time, and every business a few years down the road come back and say, tell you what, that was the thing that made the difference.
Like you said, you know, the information and that mentorship is so important, more than the cash. Because if you have a bucket of cash, whether it was 5,000, 10,000, 100,000 or a million, if you're deploying it wrong because you haven't got the mentorship on how to deploy this effectively in your business, it is going to throw it in the Thames, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no, totally. And so your father was obviously your prime initial mentor. Over the years, I'm sure you've had other guidance as well, whether you see them as mentors or whether you see them as information providers that have assisted you in making decisions. Have you experienced that through your career?
Yeah, I mean, and even today, I still look for people. I don't suppose I call them so much mentors anymore, but people I can go to and say, look, we're thinking about this, what do you think? You know, and people should never be ashamed of saying, I don't know the answer to that, and let me go and find out. Because I do it every day, you know. So, as I say, I don't formally say, oh yes, this person's my mentor, but all through my career, and it's one of the reasons that we put so much back into Scotland, because on the way up, people I phoned up, I don't think I ever got a no, you know, from people who had made it and were you know, were viewed as really successful people. I don't think I ever got a no, and it was actually one of the reasons a group of us founded the Entrepreneurial Exchange, because that was for people who had a bit of success, giving something back to those at the first rung of the ladder. So it was for entrepreneurs by entrepreneurs, you know, because somebody who's a bit further up the ladder, first of all, you've got credibility. So you're not just another consultant or somebody who wants to talk about business. You're somebody who's done business, who's made mistakes, who's not frightened to tell you about their mistakes, you know?
So you've gone from father to information people around you. You built a very successful trainer's business. What happened next?
Yeah, well, I mean, again, another important lesson is people maybe watching this and think of starting to say, oh, well, it's all right for him. But the first 5 years, I couldn't afford the shop. So I traded through other people's stores. So it took me 5 years to build the capital to open our own shop. So it's no overnight success. It's tough, it's difficult, you make mistakes, but you learn by doing. I really believe that. I think too many people, especially coming out of the universities, want to get the last cell of the spreadsheet correct and this. And, you know, the first question I ask the MD is, have you spoke to any customers? Oh no. I said, well, why don't you go and, because again, I don't think you're going to get knocked back too many times. You're just asking for advice. If we had this, would you buy it? No? Okay, that's useful. Why not? You know, what could we do? You know, so learn by doing.
And I guess for you, when you sold your business at a young age, lots of money, you sort of lose your identity. You think, hang on a minute, that was me, and me is now gone. Who am I? Yeah. Did you have that emotional?
Yeah, I mean, this was my baby, you know, sports division, and to actually say, right, I'm no longer in charge, and this is no longer me. But another decision I made was I didn't actually want to run another big business. I wanted to back entrepreneurial talent. That's what we decided. So we were going to back others, not do it myself. Which sounds simple. We're still learning about it. It's still difficult to say, rather than go, look, you're doing it all wrong, get out of the way, rather than saying, okay, so what do you think? And, you know, but, you know, basically, that's what we decided.
In terms of the need for, you know, you get these business where, you know, chasing the pound, chasing the money, and we've talked about that on the show as well, never chase the pound, you know, chase to be world class, but don't chase the money, because world class, money follows. And everyone seems to have this sort of ambition, I want to be a millionaire, I want to be a multi-millionaire, but the reality is, it's not what it's all cracked up to be. It's important, and it's important to have financial freedom and do what you want, but you do it for one reason, and that is to give back at the end.
Yeah, well, I would never preach. I'm just saying it works for me. And listen, we're having the time of our lives. You know, to be able to be in a privileged position of being able to be involved with business, but, you know, make a difference is enormous. It's fantastic, you know. But maybe it doesn't work for everyone. You know, different people, I know people in business who, you know, are multi-billionaires, but they're focused on the next billion. So, I mean, fair enough. If that works for them, who am I to say?
Moving on from that, playing with personalities, relationship building, how important has that been in your career?
So the first thing to say is that if you're going to build a big business, you can't do it alone. and therefore you're going to have to get on with people. And for the entrepreneur, something I ask for the entrepreneur to look at is to look at themselves and to do a kind of analysis and say what they're good at, which every entrepreneur can do, but then say what they're not so good at, which sometimes comes a bit more difficult.
Yeah, no, absolutely, yeah.
But then, because as the entrepreneur, as the leader, you've got to build a team that complements your weaknesses. You cannot employ people who look like you. I don't mean physically.
I will give you a job then.
Because it's going to be a nightmare. And I've saw it happen so much. Oh, right, so you agree with me, brilliant. Just because somebody agrees with me doesn't mean you're both right.
So trust played a major factor then, and yeah. So do you develop the trust with people, or is it a case of they come into the fold, they've got a great CV, they interviewed well, you trust them instantly?
Yeah, I mean, interviewing is a scary thing. I've never read a CV that said, "Tell you what, I'm really crap at this," and you know, that was a failure. So when I'm interviewing people, I'll always ask them, "Tell me about a failure. Yeah. Tell me what happened. Tell me what you learned. Tell me what you did." Yeah. So, because people are not comfortable in this country with failure. No. But I spoke with Pierre Omidyar, who's one of the founders of eBay, who's now set up a venture fund in San Francisco. And his first question to people coming looking for money is, "Tell me about a failure." Yeah. If they say, "Oh, well, we haven't had any," well, go and have some and then come back and see me. It's just such a healthy thing to say. Yeah. And we need to educate people in Britain that it's not the end. No. It's another step.
Well, you can view failure as a university, can't you? Because you can learn from it more than a university.
Hopefully. Yeah. Hopefully it's not terminal. And within eSpark, what they teach is, if you're going to fail quick, fail cheap, and then start again.
And of course the failures, and going on to the mentorship is so important, because it won't stop every failure or everything that is not quite the success you wanted it to be, but it'll certainly navigate you through the small bumps, the major bumps, and a few potholes in the road. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, we've been doing this a long time, helping people who want to start a business, help grow a business, and in the early days, the mentorship is the number one most important success factor. It's the heart, isn't it?
You know, so they need to have a much more strategic approach, thinking about where their audiences are, how they can reach them, how they can engage with them, and not just broadcast. And a lot of companies are also, the other thing from a customer service perspective is we're seeing a lot of companies simply replying and responding. So if a customer is making a complaint online, on Twitter for example, they're going there to say, "Oh, sorry, we'll put you in touch with," but there's no actual relationship building. They're copying and pasting and sending the same thing. There's no uniqueness. Yeah. You know, it's about investing in the tools which can help you. And it's not just investing in tools which help you with publishing, but it's measuring, it's monitoring, it's analysing the results as well.